I'm Paul Levinson, and welcome to Light On Light Through, episode 217, my review of the Beatles, Get Back, Part 2. Well, there was a very different kind of feeling and true story in Part 2 of Peter Jackson's The Beatles, Get Back documentary. Up from the doldrums, George Harrison is back, Billy Preston joins them, and the sound and the ambience is often heady and exhilarating. It's almost as if Twickenham, where the first part of the month of January 1969, and therefore the first part of Jackson's movie took place, was, infected by some kind of mold that put everyone on edge and made them depressed. But in the new Apple Studios, the Beatles are transformed. Billy Preston, who joins them, is justly given at least some of the credit by the Beatles themselves. But the four were also getting along together much better and beginning to gel even before Preston arrived. Lennon blossoms with I Dig a Pony, and in fact every song written by him or McCartney or Harrison that he sings and plays. Preston does add his inimitable smile and just right keyboard. Harrison takes an active role in arranging McCartney's Get Back, and the performances are punctuated not by complaining, but joking, mostly Lennon's, with McCartney more than willing to jump in and Harrison appreciatively laughing. Ringo, of course, is always in a good mood, except when he's sleeping. Now, all of this feels for all the world like this just happened, that what we're seeing on the screen took place just last week. This has to be a testament to Peter Jackson and all the people and magic he and they brought to this documentary. Obviously, it was filmed in 1969, in January 1969. But the way that Jackson and company presented it, it felt like a time portal to a place where all the Beatles were alive and young. But make no mistake about it, all's not completely well. The disagreements that nearly tore the group apart at Twickenham are not gone. They're merely receded. Early in the episode, on Part 2 of this documentary, back at Twickenham, Paul and John have an on-camera conversation. Paul says he wants more planning, more organization in their work. John responds with lines from Beatles songs, which are nice to hear him do, but they are sarcastic in this context. To some extent, I've always thought that bands are bound to fall apart because they violate the very egos that make the band members join the band in the first place. And so near the end of this episode, we find Paul McCartney once again discontented. This time it's not about how George isn't getting it right. It's McCartney's wish to end this now productive time for the Beatles, not just with another album, but with some kind of memorable event in itself. The people working for and supporting and often thinking for the Beatles come up with a solution: a rooftop performance on top of their Apple Studios. But this brings us to the door of Part 3. Which I'll be watching today, and I'll be posting a review right here on Light On, Light Through a few hours later. When it comes to the Beatles and this great documentary, one thing you can be sure about is I'll be back again.
The Light On, Light Through podcast.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that review of the Beatles Get Back Part 2. As I said, I'll be back very soon with a review of the third and final part of this marvelous documentary, The Beatles, Get Back by Peter Jackson. Also coming up soon will be my review of Invasion, the science fiction series on Apple TV+, a review of the next episode of Dexter, New Blood, and all kinds of exciting things. In the meantime, stay safe, stay sound, and enjoy.
Athens, 2042 AD. She ripped the paper in half, then ripped the halves, then ripped what was left again into bits and pieces of history that could have been. Sierra Waters had read once that, years ago, it was thought that men made love for the thrill, while women made love for the sense of connection it gave them.
Curled Up with a Good Book says, Sierra Waters is sexy as hell. You can find out more about The Plot to Save Socrates by Paul Levinson at theplot2savesocrates.com.
Paul Levinson Silk Code about an ancient biotech war raging on in secret for centuries.